Everybody ready?
Yep. Let's go.
AHSOKA!
4 Midwest Guys presents Star Wars Rebels HQ.
Battles leave scars. Some you can't see.
HOLOCRON. I'm afraid it's changing them.
I will never let my friends get hurt again.
Your anger gives you strength.
Governor Price, these rebels have proven particularly stubborn. How do you intend to solve this problem?
I need someone who sees a bigger picture.
To defeat an enemy, you must know them, not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art.
I must become more powerful.
Split the treasure.
Oh, that's a classic.
One last glorious day in the Grand Army of the Republic.
Jedi and Sith, the light and the dark.
They'll be the architects of their own destruction.
The key to destroying the Sith.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 4 Midwest Guys Presents Star Wars Rebels Season 3 Preview Show. With me today is Mr. Brian Eckenbauer.
What's up, what's up?
What's going on, B? And my brother Aaron's back with us.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, dude?
Yeah, all right.
All right, guys. Well, we got a lot to cover here. We got Season 3's coming out. We came off the Season 2 finale last year. Any thoughts on Season 2 before we move into Season 3 on the whole finale?
I liked it.
You liked it.
That's it.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All right, Brian, we got anything real quick?
I liked it too.
You liked it too?
It was really good.
It was really good. Okay, you guys are very insightful. And I see I'm going to have to haul you guys on my back the rest of the show. No,
but this is Season 3 of Rebels Recon.
It is Season 3.
Rebels Recon.
Recon, maybe. We have to discuss that.
Oh, well then we should discuss it.
We should, but...
Is that for a different podcast?
That's off air.
Are we doing that off air? Isn't Rebels Recon like the Star Wars official thing?
Star Wars show, so we may have to come up with Star Wars Rebels
something else.
I thought we did this like right before or around the time we ended like the season 2 finale. We were talking about changing it to like
we were.
What was it?
I'm thinking Star Wars Rebels debriefing.
Star
Wars Rebels Situation Room. I think
it was debriefing. I think that's what we were leaning towards last time. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think either of those.
You don't like either one? Yeah. Well, we'll continue to discuss off air then.
Oh, okay.
You can edit all that out.
So
leave it in. Why not?
So it's been a great couple seasons. First 2 seasons. First season kind of just introduced the second season. Man was on fire, and third season doesn't look like it's going to stop. In fact, let's break down. If you haven't seen it yet, please pause this podcast. Go watch the Season 3 official trailer, which you can find on YouTube, and then turn us back on because we're going to break it down for you.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about the trailer though was that there was no squales.
Yeah, it was a downside. I'm just hoping at some point a squale is just going to jump out of hyperspace and just crash into a planet. Like, just isn't
that would be awesome. No, I want to see it crash into a ship because that's what Harris says. Harris said these things used to crash into my friend ships and all that.
Oh, like in hyperspace?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. They're the deer of
the deer of the hyperspace lane.
It just freezes when it sees the light.
It freezes.
Oh shit!
I hope you're insured.
Yeah, I'd like to see either of those things.
Yeah, I just want to see it happen once. Just
like these things have to
see squale guts flying through space.
Like occasionally, these things have to just jump out of hyperspace and just hit something. Like so, there has to be like at least a couple of civilizations that just got destroyed by these things, like just a rogue meteorite sort of thing.
A rogue squale meteorite, going at hyperspace speed and crashes into a planet.
Just all of a sudden, it's like I want to jump out of hyperspace. Shit, planet.
So it's like the equivalent of the whale beaching itself, except it destroys the planet when it does it.
Exactly.
Nice.
How amazing would that be if that happened? Like you're just like, oh, it's a nice sunny day. Holy shit, squale!
Save the squales. collect the entire set. All right.
Season 3.
Season 3. All right. Okay, let's move on. So let's get into Season 3 trailer. Let's get right into it. Ezra has obviously gone on a growth spurt. He's now got short hair. No more street rat look.
No shaggy look?
Yeah.
He does look very Kanan-esque.
Yeah, no more Aladdin kind of feel to him anymore.
Yeah, he very much looks like he's growing up. He looks focused.
Yeah, it's
a very military-like buzz cut.
Yeah, very much more focused than he did in Season 2.
Yeah, he's gone on a hell of a growth spurt, too. He looks like he's grown about a foot.
Sabine looks a little taller as well, along with the additional hair coloring difference as well.
Yeah, she's got that whole
Yeah, it's kind of a whitish purple thing.
Yeah, thing.
It's kind of parted to one side.
Yeah. Ezra's other big addition, a green lightsaber. So at some point, he's found another kyber crystal, a green one this time.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't like using the little blaster function anymore.
Yeah.
It seems like that's pretty much gone.
And, when you look at it real close, and this is Star Wars nerd in me, it looks a lot like Luke's almost from Return of the Jedi. It has that same kind of look.
Handle to it.
Style.
Looks like Yoda's.
Could be. Think Yoda gave him his kyber crystal? Maybe. Although, that's...
A green one?
Yeah, the green one. Could be. It's an awfully short blade. Oh, wait, you can adjust that now. I forgot.
Wait. You can adjust the blade?
Yeah, don't you remember? It was in when he first makes his blue lightsaber. Kanan goes,
why doesn't everyone else just have a giant blade?
Or the first time he holds Kanan's lightsaber, he goes, there's a knob on the side you can adjust the length.
Why would anyone have a shorter lightsaber if you can extend your reach further?
Well, if you're Yoda and you're small, then you can still do some serious damage.
Oh, yeah,
fast.
It's not like the longer blade's going to slow you down. It's made of light. Unless, does it have wind resistance?
So you make it really, really long? And
yes.
It's across the football field, and you're just like...
It's not really...
It's
not really light, though. It's like a phase.
Does it have weight? That is my question.
It would have to be, otherwise they would be cutting each other's arms off. You wouldn't be able to balance it. Unless you're using the Force or something. I don't know. It'd have to be counterbalanced somehow. It has to have some...
If it just has the weight of the handle...
Not that I want to put physics in a Star Wars fantasy.
No, I think just the handle itself is the one that's counterbalanced. I don't think the light at all has weight.
Yeah, but if
because otherwise when you turn it on, you would change the weight distribution.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, if you ever held a sword, part of this, if you don't know, if the blade doesn't have weight, then you can go to flip it, and it's going to cut. You're going to lose control of it.
Right, but that's blade, and it's heavy. This is light, has no weight. So it's just the handle.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is it has to have some weight. Not that I want to put physics into this.
It has no weight at all. Light doesn't weigh anything.
Okay. Well,
I could be wrong. It's able to cut something, so clearly it has some variant of mass.
Correct. So it makes me believe it's some sort of plasma or something.
Okay, so does that mean you can change the length of it and it will change the weight of it?
Maybe it gets weaker. I don't know. We did see in We did see in the original Star Wars Obi-Wan's fighting with a the thing ran out of batteries with Vader.
Light has no weight, so therefore it's technically a no weight saber.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to flip it around and throw it like Vader does, if that's the case.
He uses the Force.
Maybe.
There's no maybe about it. He's Vader.
All right. Before we turn this into a lightsaber debate
on how realistic a lightsaber is.
I was just asking questions about it.
All right, so my question to you guys, because we've seen he's got a new lightsaber, he's grown like a foot, he's cut his hair. How much time do you think's passed, Brian?
Okay, so personal experience, Caitlin, has grown almost a foot in a year.
Okay.
So I'm going to say it's right around a year time span. And that's it. Then that depends on how old Kanan is. I mean, not Kanan, but Ezra. Depends on how old he is.
I'd say he's probably pushing 16, 17 at this point would be my guess.
Okay, well,
that's just a guess.
I'm gonna guess it's a year or so, because you got to think Kanan's already used to not having his eyesight from what we can see in the trailer.
Right.
So I'd say about a year, maybe.
About a year. Okay, what do you think?
About 9 months to a year.
9 months to a year. Okay, I'd say about a year as well. That's what I was going to say. So that's about right. So Ezra continues to do his flips and his turns, but he seems a little bit more in control. Seems to have a little bit more power to him. Do you think Ezra's pretty close to Jedi Knight level ability and power?
Oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah, you think he's pretty close?
I mean, just watching the way he fights, and he does, like you said, does his spin moves, and as soon as he comes down and lands on the ground, he just turns around and force pushes. I mean, it's not even like a before we had to concentrate to do it. He just kind of turns around and like boom, boom.
Well, I mean, at this point, he's had close to like 2 years of experience, if not a little more.
Yeah,
so I mean,
he's fought Vader for God's sakes.
I mean, you compare that. Plus, he has like the Holocrux thing being almost like a personal tutor on top of Kanan.
That's a good question. That leads me to.
So I mean, if you compare that to Luke Skywalker's weekend, training session with Yoda, it's a good bit more.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the holocron in a minute. It seems like Ezra blames himself for Ahsoka. He said he won't let his friends get hurt again. He must become more powerful. We've heard that line before. Starting to sound a lot like Anakin Skywalker.
Well, I mean,
to me.
Even since the first season, we've been kind of playing with the whole idea of does Ezra turn to the dark side sort of thing.
Sure.
And with the holocron or holocrux or whatever it is, it's definitely, continuing with that concept.
Well, he seems to be obsessed with that Sith holocron. That seems to be it. And even Kanan says he fears it's changing him. So do you think that is he being trained by the Sith holocron, and so because we do see him open at the end of season 2, and is it making him more powerful through the dark side? Is that why he's so much more powerful?
I think so, because I think that's the woman voice that you hear.
Yeah, it's a female Sith.
It's a female Sith saying you're coming more powerful with your anger and blah blah blah, and that's where your real power is. And I think it's the
temptation.
Yeah, the Sith inside that, or the Sith spirits, if you will. Yeah, kind of pushing him along a certain direction.
Trying, influencing him. He's picking up on it. What do you think, Aaron?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, he's definitely at least talking to it. He's trying to learn from it in some ways. Whether he's taking that advice, in application or not, we haven't seen.
Yeah,
like he really could just be more or less still training under Kanan and just trying to gather information from it. But we won't really know until the season hits. So
I think it's definitely influencing him. How much, it's hard to tell at this point. I think he's still learning from Kanan.
Yeah.
How much Kanan is teaching him at this point, I don't know though either, because
I don't think Kanan's teaching him anything at this point.
I mean,
because I think that was what we learned.
Like he's leading the mission.
That's what we learned last season, was that Kanan can't teach him anymore. It's like he's already gotten to that point.
Yeah.
The only thing he really can influence him as far as decision making, but he can't really teach him anymore.
So, I mean, is that where we kind of see Kanan at in this trailer, where he himself is trying to expand his own horizons?
I think so.
His own education.
I think he's getting to the point he knows how strong Ezra's becoming and how close he's getting to the dark side. So he's trying to go the opposite route to find out how to bring him back.
It's possible,
and that's why he goes in search of the
BENDU,
which
or whatever.
we'll
talk about later. How close? I mean, we talked about Jedi Knight level. Kanan is Jedi Knight level, but to me, it seems like not only is Ezra knocking on the door of Jedi Knighthood power level, but he seems like he's just merely maybe a thought process away of putting 2 cents together and actually becoming more powerful than Kanan. If he isn't, he at least has the potential.
Yeah, he's definitely getting close to Kanan's level, if not a little surpassed by now.
Yeah,
because I mean, we don't know how well Kanan's adapted to being blind and fighting.
Yeah.
And Kanan himself was kind of stunted, when his education ended, and that's been part of his issues training Ezra.
Yeah. I just wonder if we'll hear more of Ezra like Anakin. He's holding me back, kind of thing.
It's a good possibility. I mean, you do see him interact with Maul slightly in the trailer, so
gotcha.
It definitely could be something he might seek out Maul, trying to expand, his education of the Sith and the dark side.
I mean, right now he's pissed at Maul, obviously, because everything went down. But it would be interesting to see how much that dynamic changes. So, Brian, what do you think? You think he's a hop, skip, and a jump away from Kanan, power level wise?
Oh yeah, well I think what we've actually seen here is that Ezra is more powerful.
He just hasn't realized it.
But Kanan is wiser. Kanan has that Obi-Wan-esque.
He has the more experience.
He has more experience, so he knows more stuff.
Yeah.
Ezra just happens to be more powerful. But not as wise to the ways of
what's really going on.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Alright, so we see the return of the battle droids, and Rex is back in his clone trooper helmet, at least for one episode. One last grand day in the Army of the Republic. Looks kind of cool. Looks like
it's a nice little nod back to the Clone Wars. Yeah. Because I was under the impression those sort of droids were more or less decommissioned, right?
Yeah, but they were all supposed to be deactivated, so obviously at least a battle, some sort of, because they all used to be controlled by like one of the, what they call them, the battleships or whatever.
So there's just one that went rogue and just crashed somewhere.
Turn one back
reactivated
the droids. It looks like they come up against them anyway, and it also looks like they come up against a newer, like Imperial version, like there seems to be a new,
stronger sort of battle droid.
Yeah, like an Imperial.
Well, that could be something. A similar type to what we're seeing in the Rogue One trailer as well.
Yeah, they look like a beefed up version of K2SO, yeah. Very much so. But yeah, that was kind of a nice nod. So I'm kind of looking forward to that episode. Just to see, because you get to see Rex back in action.
Yeah.
In his clone trooper outfit and everything. So, looks kind of cool. This also looks very heavy on Sabine and the Mandalorians. It looks like we might get some more background on her family, who her mother and father is.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Sabine might be taking a more central role in this season.
Yeah.
And I think there's even some interviews with Filoni where he was making a comment to that extent as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be very deep into the Mandalorian culture.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, very awesome actually. I some people are kind of like, I don't know. Not me. I'm all on board 1,000%. Because I really wanted, that was the part they canceled Clone Wars, and I was like, man, we're going to finally get some really cool Mandalorian. We got some.
Well, yeah, I think, what was it, like
more.
Season 4, like where you had Darth Maul leading the one
Season
Mandalorian?
5,
Was that 5?
Yeah,
okay.
Because then they gave us like a truncated Season 6 afterwards, but they didn't go. There was more that happened there, and we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're making up for it once again through Rebels. So obviously a different take, different period in time, but
it still allows you to kind of touch on the subject.
Yeah. So I think we might even see if there's a connection to Bo-Katan and possibly Fives. There's that rumor's going out there as well as somebody else who was in the Sons of Dathomir comic, which was the continuation of the Darth Maul story beyond Clone Wars. There's another.
Now, is Ahsoka going to be in this?
What's that?
Do we think Ahsoka's going to be in here?
That's a good question. Up until Star Wars Celebration, I would have said no. I would have said she's dead and moved on.
Didn't we see her walk out of the...
Yeah.
We saw something. We don't know if it was her physically or if it was her spiritually or whatever.
I would assume it was physically, because generally if they're doing like the Force Ghost things, you have a different sort of...
Usually, but they had that whole... had that owl-looking thing. We talked about that in the season finale.
Yeah,
the light side of the Force and the whole going back to the Clone Wars and the Mortis trilogy and how that might represent her spirit guide and all that.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. So I don't know. Up until Star Wars Celebration, I would have said no, but Filoni said maybe, possibly, Ahsoka's not quite done the Rebels. So yeah. So now that door is probably wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some kind of return. Now, whether that's physical, Force Ghost, something else.
Yeah, in some variation.
Yeah, maybe she becomes the I don't know if you guys saw the Mortis trilogy, but she becomes what they call a Force wielder, which is kind of almost like a Force god in a way.
Okay.
Thing. You go back to just look up Mortis trilogy on YouTube or Netflix. Find it.
Is that part of?
Watch it. It's part of Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
I think it's season 3 or 2. Anyway, they end up.
Is that like the beings that are almost like ancient ones, and they're like immortal sort of thing?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
They answer this ancient distress call that comes up to the Jedi Temple. They go to this place. They're suddenly transported to this world. There's like a nexus in the Force kind of thing. There's the Father, there's the Son, and then there's a sister.
Yeah.
You know.
And then there's the
daughter,
conflict with the mother character.
There's no mother. There's the son is the dark side. The sister is the daughter is the light. And they each transform into like the dark side. His animal form is like a bat creature, and the woman is like an owl / griffin character. So when you see that owl, that smaller owl looking thing,
it's like a small reference to that.
It's a small reference to that. So that's a very short explanation of a very complex and long trilogy.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Go back if you haven't watched the Morse trilogy.
I feel like I've seen parts of it, but I don't remember the details. It's been a while.
It's very metaphorical, and you're talking about diving deep into more Norse mythology. And, yeah, so very real metaphorical and deep kind of episodes. Cool stuff, but yeah, highly recommend it. So yeah, so we'll see. So like I said, there's I think she's Bo-Katan's daughter, who was Obi-Wan's love interest sister. If you go back to the whole Clone Wars Season 5.
Once again, to Star Wars being a bit of soap opera.
Yes, exactly.
Obi-Wan's brother's sister's mother's cousin.
Your brother's, father's, nephew's, cousin's former roommate. What's that make us? Absolutely nothing. All right. But that's what I think. There's also rumors she has a 5 on her shoulder. Now, this could also be because she's Spectre 5. But there was also a clone trooper who was named Fives, who had the number 5 on his forehead. So some people think that Fives is their father. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I could be wrong. So there's that rumor. What do you guys think of her possibly being Bo-Katan's daughter, or possibly even a clone trooper's daughter?
I think
both.
the 5 thing would be a bit of a stretch.
I think so.
Don't get me wrong, he was an interesting character, but at the same time, I feel like continuing it on that way without... There's nothing that really seems like it would set it up for that up to this point.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Brian?
I had no idea.
No clue?
No idea.
No.
That's way too far, too much speculation for me.
Yeah. I like the idea of her being Bo-Katan's daughter, like I said, because it ties Obi-Wan into it. And if they want to bring Obi-Wan into Rebels, there's a good way to do it. You know, if he's going to wander off Tatooine, it might be for the sister of his love of his life kind of deal. If he's going to do it, that might be a good...
Maybe they'll have like a Christmas special.
Oh, boy.
And then Ezra and her will meet up with Kenobi and her sister at like a family Christmas to get together.
Oh, yeah.
Does one of them wear like a certain like VR sort of application just to watch like an erotic music video?
Anyway.
Just saying.
We also see a clip of more of Ezra and Sabine working together rather closely. Obviously, Ezra's had a crush on Sabine from Season 1.
I really hope that works out.
Yeah. So, do we see romance continuing to brew here, Aaron?
I don't know. Actually, even if it could go either way, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
So, like,
Do you think the romance is more of a Han Leia or a Luke and
Anakin Amidala?
Or Anakin Amidala?
Or a Luke Leia?
You guys are killing me.
Alright, I am going to go with a Luke Leia.
Oh, that's just wrong, dude.
Not like siblings, but you know, she just views him like as a sibling.
Oh, as a brother. Okay. All right.
I agree with that. I can see that happening. However, I do see them being really close, and I wouldn't mind seeing an Ezra and Sabine end up
together.
You know,
yeah. We also see a clip, and we're told that we have new Mandos with very different looking backpacks than the typical. No. I guess you call it RPG on the back of it, but just
there's no missile.
There's no missile, but they have backpacks on, and apparently they are
still got jetpacks.
Flying stormtroopers.
Flying stormtroopers, no worse. Mandos that serve the Empire. So, what do you guys think about Mandos serving the Empire? That's kind of badass. It's kind of a history, I guess, through Boba Fett, although Boba Fett is technically not a Mando. That's a podcast for another day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, you have a warrior culture that's just like, oh, well, they're the biggest invading force in the universe. Yeah, let's kill people for them.
Like mercenaries.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Just like, I like killing people. They like killing people. I see this working out for both of us.
Brian, what do you think? You're a big Mando fan.
Oh no, I think it's really cool. I think we'll see a twist in there though.
Yeah.
We'll see they're working for the Empire, but didn't realize what really they were doing, and they kind of turn on the Empire.
Okay.
At some point.
You think we might see a Mando Civil War because we've got the Concord Dawn group who works with the rebels now.
Yeah, well, you might see that, but you might. Obviously, you're going to see her parents.
I would think so. Yeah.
At least her dad.
Yeah.
And that's because I think that's who the conversation was with, and he says, "You haven't forgot our ways," and that.
Well, that's actually the leader of Concord Dawn from last season.
Maybe not. Then maybe I'm just retarded.
No, but I'm just throwing it out there. But
no, that's fine. Throw it out there because I had no idea who it was. I was just watching. I'm just assuming who some of these people are.
That is the Mando they took prisoner.
Oh, okay, I got you.
At the end of last season.
The one they took prisoner and we never saw again.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Why I didn't know who it was.
Now he seems friendly. So.
Yeah. So,
There's a lot of electroshock therapy.
Yeah. I think you could. I think you could see a not so much a civil war, or maybe it's just a reenactment battle of like the two opposing sides, and now one's working with the Empire and one's working with the rebels, and they're going to come and fight again.
Yeah. Maybe put her mother at the center of it.
Well, her mother might be in charge of the one side, and her dad's in charge of the other.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's going to be a rough marriage for a few years.
She's like, "We're going to get along. I'm going to stay with Grandma."
And just to throw even more myth into it, we see Sabine.
More meth?
Myth.
Oh, okay. I misheard you.
Not
meth. I heard that's what I heard too. It's like we're throwing more meth in it?
Myth with a Y.
Myth. How fast paced do you want this to go?
Myth, not meth. No.
Okay.
That would be crazy. Mando's on meth? Holy shit.
How is that not already a story arc?
All right, so we see, to add to the myth, we see Sabine with the Darksaber. Last time we saw the Darksaber, Darth Maul had it. It looks to be the same blade to me. Ancient Jedi weapon taken from the Jedi in the Jedi Mando Wars. Once held by Pre Vizsla, leader of Death Watch. Taken by Maul after he killed him in the Clone Wars.
Well, she used to be a member of Death Watch, right?
Well, her family was. She said her mother was, which is another reason I think her mother is either Bo-Katan or this other Mandalorian female that was in that Clone Wars episode. There was two females.
Yeah.
It was either one or the other. I can't remember the other one's name, but so I don't know. What do you guys think about the Darksaber added in and where it's been? And
I always thought it was kind of a cool weapon back in the Clone Wars. Like, not only just because it actually has somewhat more shape than you see with like the Jedi sabers, like it almost looks katana-like. Whereas like this lightsabers were clearly meant to at one time, but because of just the technology for it, it's just more like a circle. So yeah, I mean it's a cool weapon and it adds like an cool mythology for it, and we've already seen some backstory that sets that up.
Yeah, what do you think, Brian?
I agree.
Yeah, okay. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I want to know where it's been and how it gets into her hands. That's the thing. How does Maul?
It's been in a box for 20 years.
Oh no, I almost guarantee you what happens is Maul has it the entire time, and when Ezra meets up with Maul, Sabine's with him, and Sabine just happens to look through a box and finds it.
Finds Maul
and says this was.
He calls to her.
Yeah, and like this was my dad's or whatever. How did you get? And, like she doesn't know that Maul killed her dad or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, how did you get this?
Yeah.
And and Maul doesn't know it's her dad, and he's like, I killed so and so to get it, and then all of a sudden you got that whole. So now all of a sudden you got Ezra battling inner between Maul telling him how to become more powerful and his love interest who's now fighting Maul.
I didn't think about that. So you're saying Pre Vizsla was possibly her father, then? Yeah, that's possible. She does say she's House Wren and Clan Vizsla, which would be the same clan, so it would make sense. Okay, I like it. All right, next scene. We have the introduction of Wedge Antilles into the Rebels. He was introduced by a mysterious new fulcrum voice.
That's weird, though. Isn't it weird? How did Wedge get introduced as a TIE fighter pilot?
He just defected.
But I thought Wedge was whatchamacallit's buddy. I thought Wedge was Luke's buddy from the...
Not Wedge. Wedge, whatchamacallit was, oh, what's his name? Damn it. I can see him. Can't.
I thought Wedge was his buddy.
No, whatchamacallit was his buddy. The guy that got blown up. One of the many guys that got blown up against the Death Star. At the end. The hell is his name? God, that's going to drive me nuts.
I don't know. I'm just saying I thought Wedge was his buddy.
Darklighter was his last name.
What?
Darklighter?
Yeah.
Darklighter.
What the hell is his first name?
Skywalker and Darklighter.
Smokes a lot?
Oh, God.
Smoky Darklighter.
Oh, shit. Damn it.
His name was Wedge.
No, Wedge is the one that survives because he gets one of his engines taken out and he's like, I can't keep up with you. And Luke goes, take off, get out of there, Wedge. You're no good to us back there, blah, blah, blah.
Take off who?
Wedge. He knows who Wedge is, but he...
Jesus, friend, I'm telling you, it's the same person because he was like, so-and-so and so-and-so left last year. I'm fairly positive Wedge was one of them.
What Wedge, though? Oh. God, that's going to drive me nuts. Biggs.
Biggs
is his friend.
Biggs and Wedge.
I don't think he knows Wedge before the attack on the Death Star. I could be wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So either way, it's a fighter pilot that attacks the Death Star.
Yes.
Okay.
Wedges.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a fighter pilot, it turns out. And but before we get into that a little bit, let's talk about the mysterious voice for a second. Who do you think the new Fulcrum is? Who's the guy feeding the rebels information? There's somebody feeding them information.
What?
Yeah. There's a voice that shows up. There's a little symbol that shows up. And it's just a voice saying, I know several TIE fighter pilots that want to defect to the rebellion. So it's obviously got to be somebody on the inside.
Oh, I don't think.
Oh, then it's the one guy who's been completely useless for...
Agent Callus?
Yeah.
That's what I think, too. I think it's possible. I think it's Agent Callus.
He keeps looking at his rock and just thinking of the good old days.
Yep.
My glowing rock.
It's the only time I felt loved.
My friend.
I forgot all about that whole podcast. How you tried to turn it into a freaking whatchamacallit movie. With the aliens and stuff. What the hell was that?
Aliens.
What?
What aliens?
Never mind. All right, enemy mine. That's what you guys were
Okay, it was enemy mine.
Were there aliens in that?
Yeah. Enemy mine?
Yeah.
Dude. Seriously?
The main guy was an alien.
Really?
All right. So moving on.
I'm thinking of a completely different film then.
So we find out that Wedge is a TIE pilot that comes over to the side of the rebels. What do you guys think about Wedge being a Imperial fighter pilot at one point?
So I guess it adds to his backstory. I didn't know that when we saw the first Star Wars, but
it changes nothing for me.
Kind of a neat little twist, I think. A little and I'm kind of interested to see.
It just shows his backstory and why he's against the Empire.
It'd be nice to know. Yeah, we'll obviously find out. I think so.
I don't know. I mean, to me, that's kind of a character you didn't really have to expand on. Like, it's kind of cool too, but
it's just kind of neat. I think. One question I would have: he seems to come with two other TIE pilots. How much do you guys want to bet that one of them turns, or one of them
completely think of a different film,
or one of them that wants to? The other two that defect with him, maybe one is possibly
like a spy.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would be my assumption.
Is that what you guys think?
Yeah, it definitely seems like it'd be an easy setup for here's our own, double agent sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of double agents or somebody who flip flops a lot, the return of Hondo. He's kind of one of my favorites.
Hondo's great.
He's just kind of the fun.
Well, he's definitely the comedy relief.
Yeah, he's comic relief. He's
he's a guy that's out for his own interest in a world that's ruled by fanatics.
Yeah, precisely.
To be honest, you can make the argument Hondo is one of the most sane people in that entire universe. Everyone else is just following their cult to the end.
Yeah, there's no loyalty, that's for sure. Not in Hondo's world, anyway. I think he'll fight for the good when there's no self-interest.
I'm just saying, I think there's something nice about a mercenary, like, or, you know, a rogue like pirate like Hondo in a world that's more or less just religious extremist.
Okay, copy that. He does show them, we see some Y-Wings, and he shows them the station with these Y-Wings, so... do you think it's a trap, though? Do you think Hondo is leading them into a trap?
Well,
Maybe he made a deal with the Empire while in prison.
I think he's leading them to a place where he thinks he can get a lot of money out of it. Whether there's a lot of traps or, you know, things to kill them in the way, probably. I mean, actually, that might even be, like, where you start seeing the droids come in. Like, he might be leading them to, like, an old base that's been reactivated.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's possible. Brian, what do you think?
No.
No trap?
No, I don't. Well, it might be a trap, but I don't think it was set by Hondo.
No. Okay. They're just using Hondo as part of the pawn.
Well, either that or you have the other mercenary dude that's a bit bigger and it's kind of slimy. I don't remember his name. Chopper shot at him.
Yeah, the one was next to him.
Oh, yeah, the pig-looking dude.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
It could be through him, and Hondo's just with him, and he's like, I give you...
Reglum Station.
Yeah, Reglum Station, with all the blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, we can steal a bunch of those. And he's like, yes, we can become rich, because we'll have this, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll probably get there, and then that pig dude will be like, get him. And then Hondo will be like, why did you do that?
We were going to make so much money.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed. And yet, I'm so proud.
Yeah.
All right.
It's still weird that's voiced by Winnie the Pooh.
Anyway, so let's get to the big EU villain return of Grand Admiral Thrawn is back.
Well,
in a big way.
As not someone who's read the extended universe, it's not so much back from my point of view. It's just introduced.
Well, okay, so for you guys, introduction. For me, it's the return.
Yeah.
Because I read Heir to the Empire.
But
he is gone. He has left the, you know, temporary non-existence of the extended universe into he is an actual canon character again.
Which actually makes him... Because I think at this point in the time in the EU, he was only a captain. So, obviously...
Makes him his brother's uncle?
No.
He is now demi-canonical.
So now he obviously has risen to power a lot quicker, because he is already a Grand Admiral at the time of Rebels. So.
And you got to remember that he may not be the same as he was in the books.
No, that's true. They may take some different liberties. They've already done so.
Apparently he applies eyeliner in this one.
Well, he has pupils. Yeah, he has pupils. And it also, in the books, he had a almost like a godfather with a cat, except he had a lizard. He would literally like...
Pet the lizard.
Pet the lizard.
That doesn't sound dirty at all.
Oh, that sounds really bad.
But he would.
He would stroke the lizard.
And then...
Would you like to pet Mr. Snookums?
And it would sometimes sit on the shoulder. Anyway, so now they just kind of... I noticed they made that change, and they also only put the lizards like in a painting and behind him or whatever. So
now he's just obsessed with lizards.
I guess.
I don't know if that's much better.
Yeah.
Maybe the lizards come into play later.
Maybe.
He just fantasizes about stroking that lizard.
So for those of you out there who don't know who Thrawn is, he's the first major villain in the new novels released in the EU after Return of the Jedi, which was written by Timothy Zahn.
After Return of the Jedi?
It's the first books that take place after Return of the Jedi.
So why would
in the EU. Like literally, okay, so 83 Jedi comes out. Okay? And then
they
quit doing them.
Right, but you're saying that the book comes after Return of the Jedi?
Yes.
But Rebels takes place before New Hope.
Correct. That's why I'm saying he's in a completely...
The extended universe, when Disney took over, pretty much got written out.
It. Yeah.
Right, but why would they put Thrawn...
Because they just want to throw him back in the
universe. Oh, throw him in beforehand.
Yeah. Right, they've changed
his timeline. They've changed his timeline.
That's retarded.
So yeah. So
it's either that or they, change. Do
that's a huge change.
Standalone movie.
That's a huge change. That's like Arnold Schwarzenegger now knows Christopher Columbus. Kind of change.
Yeah, because like I said, in the original, he was only
he helped discover the new world.
He was only like a captain,
and he told the Indians, "I'll be back."
So, but however,
and that's the story of Thanksgiving.
But to Rebels, oh my God, you guys are killing me. So, however, to Rebels' credit, they actually did bring Timothy Zahn in, and He helped write the first episode that Thrawn's in and helped them develop the character and how to use it. And in fact, Timothy Zahn is actually writing a new book called Thrawn, which will be released in April 2000.
Okay, so kind of repositioning him in the new universe.
Yeah, in the new canon, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, actually, it does seem like it does kind of keep his personality from how it's described from the extended universe. He does seem very manipulative, very logical.
He talks about art. Because that's what
very intellectual villain.
Yeah, he's very intellectual.
He's the Lex Luthor of villains.
Well, he's
the Star Wars Lex Luthor.
He's better than Lex Luthor because he's
whoa.
He succeeds.
He succeeds because he studies them.
Lex Luthor only became president like twice.
Thrawn would never be president. Thrawn would be the guy behind the scenes pulling the strings. Trust me. But anyway,
Lex Luthor didn't do anything as president. No, Thrawn is still better, even if Luthor got voted in.
I mean, he
didn't do shit.
Thrawn he would study a person even down to their art and to their habits, to know every habit that they did down to their details, so that he could formulate a strategy to defeat them. He's a tactician.
As close to a stalker as he can be.
Yeah, and he's a tactician to the nth degree. Down to
So is the Thrawn book going to be about him becoming this thing, or is it going to be like after Jedi? Or
here I think it's going to be after Rebels, because the release date I think is the clue, because the release date is April 2017. Usually Rebels wraps up in late March, early April. So to me, I think it'll be a continuation of his story. That would just be my guess.
A continuation of his story or a backstory?
I would think it would be the continuation of his story from Rebels on. However,
so you're saying that you don't think he dies in Rebels?
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep him at least another season. I would think he's a pretty big character, just to bring in and then kill off by the end.
Well, I mean, he seems like a pretty cool character. Like if you wanted to write him into like one of the standalone films, you probably could.
And honestly, he's beloved by the EU fans pretty much. I mean, he's up there with like Tarkin and Vader and the Emperor as far as bad guys are concerned.
But he has no Force abilities.
No, none. He's just a tactician, like a very, very smart tactician.
Okay.
So that just gives you guys some
context.
But yeah. So even Cham, we even see Cham's father, who's also a brilliant tactician, showed up and he says how he was outmatched.
Yeah, like he just wasn't expected the blitzkrieg that occurred.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I was outmatched by whoever this new guy is. In fact, in the books, I would say he was probably, after Palpatine was gone, he's the next biggest threat to the Rebels.
Yeah,
period.
well, because after Palpatine, Vader's more or less gone as well.
Well, Vader's gone and Palpatine's gone. I would say this guy is probably the third most menacing. He's better than Tarkin, in my opinion.
Is that because he's blue?
No, it's because of how he is.
It does help.
It does
Red
help.
eyes and blue helps.
So
can't rule an empire if you're not stylish.
Also, he's also the only in the original book, he was also the only non-human that high up in the Empire. That because Palpatine was apparently racist as far as aliens go.
And sexist as far as the first movies go.
Yes, very much so. So it'll be very interesting to see where Rebels takes him and see where.
Also, didn't he get paranoid about the droids after the Clone Wars, or was that he killed off like the original stormtrooper or the clone troopers?
Well, he decommissioned them.
Yeah.
He didn't really kill them.
He just ended the clone problem.
Bad political move because a lot of people still saw them as heroes. So he just kind of retired them. So decommissioned. All right. So the next big thing in the trailer is the introduction of the Bendu, who kind of looks like the Rock Crusher to me from Neverending Story. Kind of, sort of. He's kind of this big. He's got a yak face, but like on the back of him, it looks like rocks to me. You know, he's like that big, overwhelming.
For me, he kind of looks like the lion turtle from The Last Airbender, but that was from like the last season.
Well, that would make sense. Filoni's first worked on was on Airbender.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really good if you haven't gotten around to catching it.
I haven't got it yet, but yeah, that was one.
But yeah, like if it has a similar role to what that does in The Last Airbender, it's going to be pretty fascinating.
Really?
Yeah. Like, cause it's a pretty integral character to like the defeating the main enemy in Airbender.
Well, it's an interesting character because he says there's the Jedi, there's the Sith, there's the light and the dark. I'm the one in the middle, Bendu. So he may be the antithesis. As much as I don't like the idea of a gray Jedi, they may be going down that road. They may be exploring the gray Jedi storyline this
well, I mean, honestly, I was kind of surprised they didn't go with it last season. Like, after that one, like, Jedi Temple
sort
of
moment.
moment.
People thought it was the Grey Jedi.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a huge
well,
fan
yeah, but
of
you
it,
really love the light-dark contrast
Yes.
and the whole kind of where it goes,
well,
like, towards...
I believe it kind of goes into
You enjoy the corruptibility of the dark side and not being able to find balance between the two.
That, not only that, but I believe that there is right and there is wrong, and that we are the ones that apply the shades of gray to it. So, I don't know. It's you get into that gray stuff, and you're watering it down. To me, that's just my personal opinion.
Well, I mean, that's you enjoy like that sort of traditional interpretation because of your philosophical bent on it, though.
Yes.
So, from someone from another point of view, they could definitely see enjoying it.
I can see where people see the appeal of it. Yeah. I think it reflects modern times, big time. But I don't want to get into philosophical debate on how this reflects in the modern day era. But I don't know, Brian. What do you think of the Bendu and the light, the Jedi, the Sith, the light, the dark?
Oh, I mean, that definitely reminds me of like what you said, the never-ending story.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you said that, I was like, oh yeah, guys, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Or the big hairy beast from the Labyrinth.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. I haven't seen Labyrinth in years.
So I mean, the only reason why I said this is because Aaron's wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
But yeah, I mean, and I personally, the whole light and the dark is fine for me, and the introduction to this new gray Jedi is kind of like
interesting.
To me, the gray Jedi sounds more like I know the ways of the Force, I know how to yield them, but I don't give a fuck. Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like a.
It's like
you guys can go fight if you want. I'm just gonna sit here. Oh, you're going to mess with me. Now I'm going to use the Force on you, but now I'm okay.
I'm going to use the Force to grab that beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't have to get up and go to the bathroom. I can sit here and just piss and watch.
Just a stream traveling through the house to the restroom.
You should watch me go number 2.
Poop on my suit.
Got the dog! And there it is. We found a way. So, also, Kanan appears to be on a quest to find him, I guess. It seems like he's out to find him. I don't think he stumbles upon him.
Nope.
Necessarily.
It does seem like he does search for him, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be very weird to find this weird mythical creature just like... Because you wanted to, find a loaf of bread or some shit.
Well, what it kind of looks like to me was that he's on his way to find Ezra, who happens to probably be with Maul.
Yeah, and he stumbles upon
the Bendu.
Maybe
who's telling him, because the Bendu knows what's going to happen between Ezra and Darth Maul, and he's like, once something is seen, it cannot be unseen.
Yeah,
a truth cannot be unlearned.
Yeah, he already knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just like that.
That whole, what do you want to know? Because I was thinking maybe he was sent by Yoda. Maybe Yoda sends him on another crazy adventure.
Oh, Jesus, I hope not.
Ghost Yoda, give me a sign.
He's
not even a ghost Yoda
yet.
Oh, that's right.
He's still alive. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, no, it cannot be.
I'm still trying to figure out why Yoda sent him to Malachor. That's still driving me a little bit crazy, because it's like, okay,
he sent him to find the holocron.
Yeah, why would he do that? I mean, why would you do that? I mean, is he trying to make him more powerful, to understand, to teach him the hard lesson?
Here's that he's like, that giant Sith destruction weapon, we don't want them having that. Go get it.
It could. I don't think it's that simple. It can't be that simple. It's kind of like, I kind of feel like it's like, if he doesn't, it's like he's trying to teach him a lesson the hard way, I guess, or he's training him so that he doesn't get killed later on.
Or it's like you have to see the weakness in the Sith philosophy before you can turn away from it.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
something. Yeah,
well, it is really weird, because it's almost like that whole like in Suicide Squad, with the whole, if you don't try to pull the Enchantress into the Suicide Squad, the whole movie doesn't happen.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that same thing with it's like, if you don't really send them to there, then the whole holocron thing doesn't really happen, and we kind of stay on the same path of good and everything. We don't bring in the bad part, but you ultimately exposed Ezra to the holocron,
right?
By sending them. It's like, why? Like,
maybe
exactly. Why would you send him there to do that?
Right.
He didn't like Ezra.
It's almost like
he was an annoying brat.
It's almost like I could save you now, but if I save you now, then you're going to be 2 weeks later, kind of thing to save yourself later.
It's a
that kind of.
If I give Ezra the holocron, maybe he defeats Vader. Because I really don't like Vader now. so the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Here, kid. Here's a giant weapon. Let's see what you do with it.
I don't know. It's just been. It's one of those things that in the off season I've just been like, why?
You just
why?
you wake up in the middle of the night. Why? Why would you do that, Yoda? Why did you betray him?
It's just like.
What? You can see Brian rolling his bed. Holocron. No. Yoda. Why? Why?
I don't know. All right.
Just another nightmare? Yeah, just another nightmare.
So, Brian, you've already kind of answered this. You think that he's seen Ezra's future. Aaron, what do you think? What secret is it that he is seeking answers to? What do you think it is? What is once a secret is known cannot be unknown? What is
I
it?
imagine it's actually information about the nature of the Force itself.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my assumption, especially when you have the introduction of I am neither light nor the dark, but what lies in between sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that definitely suggests it. Also, if he feels like he's getting weaker than Ezra is at this point and has nothing left to learn, that could set him up for an arc where he tries to expand his horizons and gain insight into, and further his, understanding
of the Force.
Yeah. So that could be what leads him to that sort of situation.
Okay. Do you guys think maybe it might be somehow related down to that green mist we see later, where we see Kanan kind of fall into and looks like a Night Sister magic from the Clone Wars? It almost looks like a ghost from the dark side covers his eyes.
Slimer.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
ectoplasm.
Kind of. Well, yeah, but it's
then possesses him.
But yeah, it looks like he's possessed at one point. Do you think
it could be in a similar area, but I don't know if it's the same being that creates it. But it could be.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you think he's given back his vision? Strangely enough, by a dark side magic or something crazy.
Well, I mean, generally that is how they healed Darth Maul, is with like the one sister's like magic. That's how they attach the legs to him.
Yeah, rebuilt his
and
legs.
when you see him looking possessed, it's his eyes glowing. So possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
I never thought about the possibility of him getting his eyesight back, but that could be something we see happen. And then it could be one of those things where Kanan has to choose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, do you want your eyesight back?
Yeah.
Or, be part of the darkness?
Right.
Or do you want to not have your eyesight back and
we'll
take it back away?
Yeah. What's the cost?
Well, I mean, a lot of times when we look into like some of these, what is the greater nature of the Force thing, you do also have it accompanied by like certain trials and tribulations sort of thing. So it could be something leading up to meeting the one creature.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. It just seemed. I don't know. That was the first thing entered my mind when I heard that. I was like, that's got to be related.
Or maybe it starts out with the mist and getting possessed in the eyes and stuff, and he eventually says, no, I don't want this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And when he says no, all of a sudden he appears right in front of this creature, this Bendu or whatever, and he's like, I'm the one in the middle. And
he seeks out the Bendu through you. Maybe. That'd be cool. So, Darth Maul. Or now just Maul, I guess. Still calling Ezra his apprentice, obviously.
He was pretty obsessed about that. So,
this is in a separate clip that they showed. He tries to kill Kanan. He throws him in an airlock. Kanan's blind at this point, by the way.
Oh, I saw that on the
way. So he's continuing to try to tempt Ezra to the dark side.
Well, in Maul's mind, he just has to keep killing Kanan until, Ezra's cool with him.
Yeah.
Like, he'll succeed, and Ezra will get over it.
And then we see the merging of the holocrons, between him and Maul.
And Kanan's standing there, too.
Right. So something's up.
Quick question, where did the other holocron come from?
The blue one?
The blue one Kanan had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they're merging the two and then when you see it like kind of explode,
You think that's where the green mist comes from?
you see Maul go one way,
Kanan go the other.
not Kanan, but Ezra go the other,
Yeah.
and then you see Kanan kind of just bounce back a little bit. So that might be where the green mist comes from.
Maybe.
And when you merge the two, he gets possessed by
whatever's in there. That would be an interesting take.
Well, I mean, we saw force possession occur last season with Zeb a little bit, like when he was, well, not necessarily possession, but there was definitely the force reaching out and moving through him,
Focused through him,
Yeah.
Kind of like a lightning rod.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, it's very possible. Also, there's a female voice in that Sith holocron. Your anger gives you power. Do you guys think it
Traditional
might be
Sith sort of phrasing, yeah.
Yeah, you think it could be an ancient Sith from
Yeah.
maybe the EU or something like
Possibly,
that?
yeah.
There was.
I mean, there was a theory that it was like one of the characters from like one of the like games, like early on, right?
Yeah, there's a theory out there. It was Darth Talon. She was an apprentice to Darth Bane, who in the EU was the one that created the rule of 2. Also, that's actually now canon because that's in season 6 of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
When Yoda sees Bane's ghost or whatever. But yeah,
and Bane was the one that did the Rule 2.
Rule 2 created the Rule 2 because up to that point the Sith just
existed.
There was a ton of them and they kept
battling
each other. Even
you had the Great Sith Wars.
Yeah. Well,
which is a different spin-off completely.
Yeah.
Well, you had the Sith and Jedi Wars, but the Jedi always won because the Sith would ultimately turn on each other. So they could never win. So that's why Bane created Rule 2. One to have the power, one to seek the power. So, also, there's a real briefly. I'll go over this real quick. This is outside of the Clone Wars trailer, but there was briefly a panel on. It was called at Star Wars Celebration called AHSOKA: The Untold Stories with Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo. Basically, they just kind of told what happened to Ahsoka and when she walked away from the Jedi Academy until we see her in Rebels. And there's some pretty cool stuff. I highly suggest to our listeners out there go to StarWars.com and you can just kind of they'll fill you in on what happened.
And what is it now?
It's called it was a panel. It was called AHSOKA: The Untold Stories.
Okay.
And basically they kind of fill in the gaps of because they had it all. Most of it was planned out. The Star Wars in Clone Wars. What happened to Ahsoka after she left the Jedi
Now, is that going to
Academy.
be another cartoon, or is that going to be a book? Or?
There's a book coming out.
Okay.
Some of it might be in there, but a lot of it isn't even. And so if our listeners are out there, definitely check that
I just
out.
find it hard to believe they would have that much of a story and then not share it in some way.
No,
Well,
I actually wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, with a lot of times you want to create like kind of a backstory in the world for your characters.
No. I'm saying that they wouldn't share it with us.
Create the cartoons for
Yeah,
it?
like create the cartoon or create a book or something.
I mean, if you look at, there was a lot of storylines for Clone Wars that got gotten and cut off, and they tried to reintroduce some of it into Rebels. So it might be continuing on with Rebels, or maybe you'll see another thing down the line.
Well, Dave even said that everything they planned still happens. Pretty much happens. It's just not shown, obviously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that they have this much story
planned out,
and it's out there. Like they know it. They know what they did and everything else. Like, why do you only let a few people know what she did?
Yeah,
without putting it out there in a cartoon form, or even just one episode, a backstory of Ahsoka, or
I think it'd make a great comic book series myself. But
that's what I'm saying. Like something.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Or do they bring Ahsoka back and let her do a backstory? For one episode.
It would be nice.
You know what I mean? Like one episode that says, "Here's the backstory on Ahsoka. What happened? Like what? Like when her and Ezra are talking or something, and he says, "What happened to you?"
It would be great. It would be pretty sweet, actually. There's a lot to tell, actually, but it might have to be a couple episodes. But
we know that's not going to happen.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever will, unfortunately. But yeah, it is out there for our folks. But just so I just want to throw that out there at the end. But
Brian will put a link up on our.
Yeah, I'll put it on the
page.
Facebook page. So, and I'll put it out on Twitter too. So you guys can check it out. All right. Well, this was real good getting back together, just kind of talking about Rebels. Went over the trailer in pretty good depth and told a little bit about AHSOKA there at the end. So that's pretty much it for now. We won't do any final thoughts this time around. Just we'll save that for an actual episode. But it's nice getting back together. We'll see you probably the week after. I think September 24th is when Rebels returns. Season 3 starts, so I'll be looking forward to getting back together with you guys, and we'll go over, as we always do, episode by episode. So,
oh yeah, can't wait.
Yep. So, Brian, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Aaron, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
All right, and myself, B. Willie, saying, may the Force be with you.